Well, bless the Lord, saints. I am Prophetess Carla. Let's talk about prophet personality and temperament. But first, please follow, like, and share if you find value in this content. Number four, can easily blow off people and situations. I think it depends on the person and the situation. Now, when it comes to ministry, I'll say those for real prophets. I don't want to say we don't care. I can always pray for your feelings to be healed. However, I'm not going to take back whatever I said when I'm giving you a thus said the Lord. Because if I don't do my part, I gotta get spanked for that. If I don't say it, that thing is burning in me. Like that's a prophetic burden bearer. Is what you end up being. And that's a whole nother teaching. We end up being prophetic burden bearers. We feel different sensations, and we have to deal with that when we don't do or say whatever the Lord tells us to say. So yes, we can easily blow off people and situations depending on what it is, especially when it comes to ministry. Number five, likes to keep things real and confront situations head on. Yeah, it's hard for us to not be authentic. Why? For me, I have to be hung on a shelf, no rose colored glasses, no paint buckets, naked and not ashamed, if you will, before the Lord. I have to be true to myself and definitely true to God for God to even begin to try to use us, to be able to trust us in the service of the fivefold ministry. When we see things that perhaps need to have a conversation or action with it, we need clarity up front because we deal with a big God. Even when God gives us prophetic words and I don't quite understand, I'm going to ask questions because I don't want to fumble that assignment. Break it all the way down for me, Holy Ghost. Because when this thing is executed, I need for it to be received as much as possible. Even if it's rejected, I need to know that I met God's standard and approval for the way it was executed, which means I need to have a clear understanding of what God is saying when he gives me, or I'll say us prophetic people, an assignment. Number six, kind of a loner, likes their own space. For me, absolutely. It's a bit draining to be around a lot of people for too long of a time. We all move in ministry differently. Some people, they see the majority of the time, such as visions and dreams. Some people hear the majority of the time. Other people may actually speak by way of giving prophetic words. Well, when you're dealing with more of an office of prophet, which is where I am, I'm getting it all. I'm singing, I'm hearing, I'm able to articulate the word of the Lord. I'm sensing. I can taste alcohol. I can taste cigarette smoke. I can feel when someone's hurting. It's like we get an abundance of it. And so can you imagine going into a football field and you're feeling all of that? And so for me, it's quite draining after a while. Other people may be able to handle that just a little bit better. But for me, and I'm sure quite a few others like me, we're naturally loners. We're used to being in the face of God. We have to do it. We got to pray and then allow that space for God to speak. Some stuff we have to do it alone. We have to physically do it alone. We can be mentored, but at the end of the day, some things we have to physically do alone, and we're just used to being in that space, which is our own space a lot of the times.